What's up? This is Brandon Christensen, director of this film, and with me I have a very special guest.
This is Clayton Moore, cinematographer of this film.
Clayton Moore, cinematographer of this film. This is the second film that we've shot together now?
Yes, this
Okay,
would be
so
the second. Yep.
nice. So we did Superhouse together, we did this. You shot It Stains the Sands Red, which was the first feature I was involved with you. Yeah, and we've actually shot another one since then. So yeah, I mean we're just launching right into this. This scene was a nightmare to shoot.
Well, and that's how this movie starts off, is it just launches right into it, and I think it's a great way to get the thing started. Um, Funny note, one of the first shots of the movie was shot in my kitchen.
Yeah, that's right. The very first shot, this shot of the
Yeah,
stereo, I bought that
yeah,
in Vegas on like Facebook Marketplace, and
yep.
just took it over to your house, and we shot these inserts.
It was fun.
Yeah, so that was so this scene. I just remember we were in this little corner of the kitchen, and just lighting it, and the grease on the vent above. It was just kind of a nightmare.
It was tough. I wanted to rig some lighting up onto those little lights under the stove there. I wanted to put some diffusion there, and it just wouldn't stick. And it was a frustrating day to begin with, and a lot of things just adding up to just. And then that kitchen, the way it was designed, was just so skinny and narrow. It made it really tough to get coverage because the island was right there in the middle where we
Hmm.
wanted to put the camera every time.
Right. Yeah. So that
So
was that was all very fun. And I mean, crazy house though. This house is so expensive, just filled with like the most ornate things from all around the world, and that was pretty wild. I remember just because man, like we were scared of touching anything.
and that's the thing when you're on a location like that's it. You get this beautiful production value, but yeah, it's like my God, forget it if you drop something or scratch something.
Hmm. So this
So.
this here this was fun because this was the day or two before we actually started filming the movie. You and I just
Hmm.
jumped in the van, drove over to the school, and it was just this crazy blizzard, and we just shot all of this really pretty B roll of just the campus because we had full access to it.
Yeah, it was a nice kind of impromptu camera test for us, and I think it really helped us to get kind of in the mood of the film.
Right.
Just and the weather. It kind of gave us a taste of what we were in for with the weather.
Yeah, but it never. I mean, it never looked like this again. Like those
No,
those snow
no,
drifts, those melted immediately.
yeah, it was a shame. So I'm glad that we got it when we did.
Yeah, that one the workout room I got when I went back in December to do pickups.
Yeah.
I had there was football players working out, and I'm like banging on the door, and they're listening to music. I'm like, can you just like clear the room? I'm just gonna shoot this little creepy shot of the thing, and they're like, we'll give you like 10 seconds. So I was just like, go go go. They weren't into it.
Oh gosh, they weren't for the cause, huh?
Yeah. So this next scene coming up is all on a stage that we shot at Buffalo Filmworks, and yeah, I mean, talk a little bit about lighting this because it was pretty simple and efficient setup.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how I approach any scene. I like to keep things pretty naturalistic. And so you're in a dorm room, your lighting's gonna be motivated by lamps and by your window. Because dorm rooms are tiny little boxes. Um, and it was cool. I mean, we had this huge sound stage, and we still made the dorm room pretty much true to size. So it was like this tiny little box we were shooting in on this massive sound stage. Um, but you can see we worked with production designers to put in little like Christmas lights, and we kind of put lamps in each corner of the room so we could always have some way to have light coming from, no matter what direction we were shooting. And we have an overall soft ambient light just overhead here that's given us a nice little glow on their heads, and they're giving some hair light there too. But it was nice shooting in the studio because this was at the end of the
Hmm.
shoot. So we got to spend the last few days in a nice it was still cold, but it was at least sheltered
Controlled.
from, yeah, and very controlled.
Yeah, and then this was
Uh,
day 2. I remember being very nervous about this just because, like, Superhost has one scene with 4 characters or a couple scenes, but beyond that, like, all
yeah,
my films are usually pretty small. So you just have, like, this classic scene setting up all the characters, and you've got a bunch of extras, and you just have to make sure you cover it properly. And so this was day 2, and it was just, it's always blocking all these people, making sure everybody's got the right shots and stuff like that. It was weird, but I mean, it looks great because we had that nice cloud cover.
yeah. And day two, you're still kind of getting used to working with everyone, getting a
Mm-hmm.
feel for how everyone communicates.
Totally.
The cloud covered was a really nice blessing for us here, as it really allowed us to control our contrast,
Yeah. No, that
which
stuff
is
all
always
looks
a
great.
challenge
Mm-hmm.
with outdoor stuff. And we still have some snow, which is nice because we set that up in the first shots,
Right.
and we see it here, and then it melts off towards the end of the movie, but you don't really pay attention to it anymore
Yeah, it's been
after.
established, so everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it's a snowy movie," and they never really think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a bunch of like exteriors that we shot beforehand,
Yeah.
and so we were able to just like cut to those when we need to. But yeah, this next shot was cool because we had this classroom, really cool looking building with these vertical lines that are kind
That's
of
our
like
producer right
strings.
there too.
Yeah, and producer doing
Cameo.
pacing.
Yep.
Justin Martell.
Yep.
And there's some crew in the back. On the left, we've got our second AD. On the top right, we got our first AD, just
Yep.
filling with bodies because we never have enough. But yeah, just a long dolly with. We shot this at 6K, so we could do some post zoom on it as well. But it's just like a 20-foot dolly move with a jib arm kind of thing at the end of the track,
Yep.
and painting out all of Allison's blinks because she blinks a lot.
That was a fun one though. That was a fun shot to do. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of we. I'm really proud that we used the dolly so much as we did in this movie because there's just something about a dolly, nice dolly move that really, it's very cinematic.
Right.
And
Yeah. No,
so,
this was. Yeah. No, it was great. For the most part, Uh, it was good. This scene is so stupid. Remember how stressed we were? We were we
man,
were we were gonna go from this to lunch to shooting Cam's death, and like there were so many just windows that we couldn't put any lights anywhere, and it just looked like crap when we were doing it. We were just like, we don't know what we're doing, and it
yeah,
was it was all frustrating. But
yeah. There was a few times I got frazzled on this movie. That was definitely one of them.
and it's for
And
like
then,
a nothing scene. It's so funny.
yeah, yeah. And then again, another nice slow dolly move there to set up this diner. And this diner was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Total classic college
I
diner.
I really enjoyed shooting here, and it was nice too because we were there all day,
Yep.
and we did a daytime look and then we did a nighttime look.
Right. Yeah, no, it was nice, and they fed us, and just we're indoors again. This is where Raffy drove over my left foot with the dolly and like crushed my
Ah,
toes, and I still have a little nerve damage from that, so that was fun.
oh boy, oh boy, you should have your steel toe boots on, man.
No, I gotta
Yeah,
think smarter.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, this bathroom thing wasn't at the diner.
nope, not at all. Totally different place.
There was a lot of moving around in this film. There was something like 47 different locations in a 20-day shoot, which is absurd.
Yeah, and especially as we were just coming off of Superhost, which was all in one house,
Mm-hmm.
and the surrounding forest.
Right. Yeah, this was. I mean, it was kind of nice though because you go to a place, you shoot it out, and then you leave, and you're not like
Yeah,
getting bored of the same place. You're just like, okay, get everything that you can at this place, move to the next one, film what you can there, and it just makes the film feel fresher too.
yeah. And I think that was a inspiring thing for me as well because, like you were saying, it's like every day was a different location,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just fun to see all these cool new locations that, in an environment that, I mean, I've lived in Vegas for 20 years now. I'm kind of sick of the desert, so it was nice to see some snow and trees.
Yeah. No, tons of texture in Buffalo for sure. You
Yeah,
can point a camera anywhere, and it's pretty cinematic. But yeah, this was in one of the residence buildings on campus. It just had that checkerboard tile on the wall, and it was like, oh, that feels like a diner.
mm-hmm.
So that was nice. Didn't have to light it. And we had. Do you remember we had like we were shooting this, and we're we're trying to get these shots, and there was a news reporter there, and she's like filming
Yeah.
B-roll of us
Yeah.
filming, and we're like, can you not right now? We're just trying to shoot the scene before we move to a bigger sequence.
Yes.
But yeah, here's
Now
the
that I'd love to see that footage though. In hindsight,
right,
I'm sure we were stressed.
right. And then we're back, and it was kind of interesting with Angel because she's only in like 26, 27 minutes of the film, but we had her for the entire 20-day shoot. So like this was the last week. We shot most of the
Yeah.
stuff on campus in the liquor store the first week. So she kind of bookended the shoot, and by the time we got to this stuff where it's more intimate conversations, it felt like she and Allison had grown so much into their characters and stuff like that. So it had
Yeah.
this looseness to it that I think helped sell their relationship.
That was very smart of you.
I did nothing. I did not a
Yeah.
thing. I had zero control on anything. So no, that wasn't me.
Take credit for it though.
Yeah, it was all me. I was just like, let's do this stuff in the dorm at the end so they can do all the things that I just said. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to have that set because you can go out the window and you can just shoot through the glass that they said, and you got the more vertical lines, more puppet imagery.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just stuff. I think it's
Yeah.
funny that Charlie's got a much cooler lamp than Michael does.
I think that kind of makes sense though. She's got a lot more pizzazz to her.
Do they not issue them at school? Maybe she brought her own. I don't know.
She probably brought her own for sure.
Classic Charlie.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, it was nice shooting on a stage. Like you were saying, we could control pretty much everything, which is what you always want.
Yeah, but because it was so big, there was a brutal echo when they were talking, I remember.
True,
Just like you
yeah.
could it's just hard walls, hard floors, huge ceilings. Yeah, so it was, I mean, you can't hear because the sound mix, does a good job. But yeah, it was, that's a cool transition.
That was a great transition.
So all this hallway stuff we shot in, I think it was day 3, and this was the first scene we shot in there, and then there was an active shooter nearby. Do you remember? And
Yeah.
we had to shoot more scenes with Keo after this, and when they're walking after the liquor store, and we couldn't get them in because everybody was on a hard lockdown. And
Yeah,
so
and not not only that, like our gear was stuck outside. So
Yeah.
it's like luckily we had what we needed in there.
yeah,
But we had no other support that could come in.
right.
So I remember we were looking through some of the recycling bins in the hallways to look for cardboard to try and flag off some of the lighting from the top.
That's so funny.
It was awesome. Took us right back to our roots of film school and
Home Depot lights and
oh yeah.
white cardboard from the thrift store.
But see that just proves to that just shows you that all that stuff you learn on no budget will pay off someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. The liquor store. So this was the very first. This might have been the first. Oh no, we shot interior first. So we came out here and then we shot
Right.
both scenes. And you remember, I was like, let's shoot the first scene one direction, and then we'll shoot the second scene when they all come back out the same direction, and then we'll turn around, shoot the second scene going backwards, and then we'll go back to the first scene. And in theory it made sense because then you're not flipping. But one, we weren't lighting anything; it was all sunlit, so that doesn't matter. But then the actors didn't the blocking changes like crazy through the sequence, so
Right.
that was a problem. But it's edited quick; you don't really notice anything.
Yep. Day one, man.
That's actually in Calgary. That B-roll shot. I shot that here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, and the tree.
Because there was a tree across the street, but it
Yeah.
wasn't ideal.
Yeah,
But I
that tree's
remember
fake. Tony
Okay.
added that tree. It was just a couple of
Nice.
houses, but I liked the colors of
Yeah.
the brick and stuff like that. I had to drive
For
around
sure.
in in the snow trying to find a house that would match what they're looking at. But
Has anyone asked you why the sign is upside down?
yeah, a lot of people.
Really?
And it's just like I don't know.
That's just how it is.
Just how it is.
Yeah.
And then this was the first scene we shot on the film. And
Yep.
that's
Yep.
tough because you've got to have this like established connection between these two, and it's such a
Yeah.
simply shot scene. It's just cross shooting, um, you know, we but it's it's really effective because that guy
Yeah.
gives 0% on his performance, which is intended, and it's funny.
He is so good. He says so much with just his eyes
Hmm.
and his arms crossed like that. I mean,
Hmm.
it's so good.
Yeah, I remember one thing because this was the first time I ever shot anamorphic, and this was I think
Yep.
it was shooting them first, but we pointed the camera at them, and I was just like, "Holy crap, this frame is
Whoa.
wide!"
Yep.
Like you just see, I'm so used to shooting spherical, so it was such a strange thing, and then you're just like, "I guess this is what the movie's gonna be like," and you
Mhm.
you learn very quickly that it's amazing, and like anamorphic is so legit, but
Mhm.
man, it was just I remember that first shot being like, "Oh my god, did I make that?
Yeah.
Is this the right choice here?"
It was. There was a bit of a learning curve, but by the second or third day we had it down.
Hmm.
We knew what the lenses looked like.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's just it brings such a nice texture, and there's like a nice fall off in the focus, and
Yeah, they're
it
still really
just
sharp.
yeah, it's just like something next level about it.
Do you want to talk really quickly about the camera package and stuff that we shot on, just for anyone that's listening for that?
Yeah, we used Red Gemini, and that was our A camera, and our B camera was Red Komodo, owned by the director Brandon.
Hey!
Hey, it actually almost didn't make it onto the movie, but
Right.
that's a whole nother story. I think you picked up the camera
The day
at
before I
the
left.
airport.
No, it was the day before I left,
It's like
but very
as you were
close.
going through security, they
Yeah.
tossed the camera over to
Uh-huh.
you. Anyways, yeah. So we had the Gemini and we had the Komodo. We tried to shoot mostly single camera, but obviously there was a lot of opportunities for us to use two cameras, and it was really nice to have dual coverage on some scenes.
Yeah, it was mostly the bigger, like, more when there's, like, emotions at play, and
Yeah,
you don't want to drain the actors, so you can shoot, if
yeah,
Michael's breaking down, you can shoot two lenses on her and get two
yeah,
shots at once, and, so it sped up the whole process. At Ruby's house, when we have, five people or whatever across from a table, we had a good system of cross-shooting that,
yeah,
too.
yep. And then all the death scenes, of course.
Right. And this house
Um,
here, which plays as
oh,
Ruby's, is also, the inside of it is where we shot the opening of the film,
yep.
so we don't really return to
Beautiful
that.
house.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful house.
crazy. Super close to our hotel too.
Yeah. And then for our lens package, we had the Atlas anamorphic lenses. I believe we had was it the 16?
No, there was a 32
No,
is
no,
the
no.
widest.
Yeah, so
32,
that's 32, 50,
50,
and 80.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 32, 50, and 80.
Do you
And that was it.
remember?
We had three lenses.
Do you remember when we were doing camera tests in my hotel room, and I didn't like we didn't have the Gemini yet. We only had my Komodo, so we put
Yeah.
we had the kit with the 40 was the
Right.
widest, and we put that on the lens, and I was like, this is nowhere near wide enough because I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
realize that the Komodo had a different sensor shape than the Gemini. So when we put, we had to like frantically switch lens packages. Fortunately, they had it. But we got the other kit with the 32, and we put it on the Gemini when we got that, and it was just like, oh, okay, this is super wide. It was just the Komodo that crops
Mm-hmm.
it differently. But yeah,
Yeah, and that's my only complaint about Reds is they all kind of treat things differently depending what camera you have. But it worked out, obviously.
yeah. This was funny too, because remember we were trying to figure out how to light it, and from the other side, like I
Man,
was I was gonna shoot it from the window side,
right.
and then
And yeah, we looked at it. It's like it's just so front lit. It's just
right.
this isn't the movie.
I was like, why don't we just flip the scene? It's fine. And it was like,
It's
oh,
like,
okay. And then
oh, okay.
immediately,
And then it's like, yeah, this is it.
yeah, super easy.
Yeah.
That was funny. See, all this stuff's in my office in Vegas. All these screen shots. I had to
Okay. Yep.
create Charlie's laptop and then,
Man.
yeah, and just shoot all these inserts really tight on these lenses. But it works. It's way better than doing it all in VFX. Like,
Definitely.
it feels practical. It animates properly because it's all real.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Are
this,
there any like? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this stuff we shot just on an iPhone, like.
Yep.
And then me, you, and Allison went out on a Saturday into the dorm hallway because the dorm, the hallway was a separate location, and we just
Yep.
it was funny because we had like two cameras rolling, one horizontal and one vertical, because I wasn't sure which direction
Mm-hmm.
these videos would be, and we ended up using the vertical, but we shot both. Um,
Yep.
were you gonna ask if there's any Easter eggs on the camera?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
There's a lot. There's like, you can see one there, the HT of the Reaper. That's another script that we're working on.
Yep.
Um, and then there's just a bunch of, it's all like Angel's real photos, and I gave them names and stuff. It was kind of fun
Yeah.
to build this crazy cascade of her brain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was just us on a Saturday, just picking up some shots. Allison was nice enough to hang out for an hour here and there.
We did a lot of that too, where we kind of snuck out on our own, on the weekends,
Hmm.
and it's fun. You just get so much. You're just so much more productive when you're small and nimble like that.
Yeah, when you know exactly what you need. Like the bird walk that we do later, it was
Yeah.
just the three of us. And then Seeger was there too. And there was
Yeah.
just this enormous blizzard. And it's me, you, and the glide cam or whatever, the Ronin.
Yep.
And
Yep.
just, walking on campus and trying to get a take where the camera's not flying around on the gimbal from the wind.
Mm-hmm. Good
But-
times.
Yeah.
Good times.
I was asked. I did this panel in Buffalo, and I went to the Buffalo Film Festival like a few weeks ago, and someone was like, "What was your favorite day on set?" And I just started like talking about all the bad things, and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, was there any, like, can you remember like a day where we left and we were like, that was fun? I think the studio stuff maybe in the last week, because it was so controlled.
Yeah.
And everybody was dialed in at that point. Like the crew was dialed. You just have this kind of kumbaya vibe on set. But prior to that, like every day was so hard.
It was a struggle, man. Yeah.
Like it felt like every day you'd be like, oh shit, we're shooting the bridge today. Oh my god, we're shooting the cops station, and we don't even have a location yet. And it's just,
Yeah.
it was just like constant. And this rooftop
Oh
was,
man.
we
Don't get me
lost
started.
we lost the original rooftop, and then
Yeah.
we were, they were trying to change the scene. I was like, absolutely not. This is
Yep.
such a pivotal scene. It needs to be on a roof. It needs all this stuff. And so Mac ended up finding this hospital rooftop in Lockport, and we shot
Yeah.
there. And it was great. I felt this was the scene I was most planned for on the entire
Yep.
shoot. I was so ready. We got there super early. We did a bunch of steps on the roof. And then immediately, right when it gets like the lights up, everything's
Right at
good.
call time, it was like
The camera dies. The A camera,
Yeah.
the Gemini,
the
dies.
A camera goes down. So it's like, okay, we were gonna get double camera on all this stuff. Now we have one.
Mm-hmm.
The wind starts picking up.
Picking up.
So I'm like, I wanted to fly some rags up in the sky and do a little moon bounce type of thing.
Couldn't do it.
That wasn't gonna happen.
No. So yeah, and this,
You know,
it's funny because like this was my favorite scene in this in the script. I love this scene just because it just like was pared down to the absolute bare essentials in footage, because
Yeah.
we just didn't have time, because we lost
Yeah.
like an hour and a half to close to 2 hours with the gear.
Yep.
And so it's just like you're playing catch up from the very beginning, and the plan starts falling. You start chopping shots, and you just like hope that you get it, because you can't go back here. It's way too
Yeah.
far from our main unit.
And not only that, like we got started so late too, because it was like a five stories high,
Mm-hmm.
and it, like just to get all the gear and the people up there, it was like
It wasn't
I
just
think
like walk in, get on elevator,
No.
go up. There was so
No, and
many
we had to-
hallways.
we had to run power too, so we had to drop
Mm-hmm.
power over the side to a generator, and it was, oh my god.
Yeah, and it was just so cold. So like
Yep.
the actors were holding these bottles, and their hands were freezing.
Yep. Yep. Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
yeah.
You know, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
I don't know. Maybe. But it's funny because, like, there's not even really that much texture in the background. Like, we could have
Yeah.
just shot this in a stage, because
Sure.
it doesn't.
We could have maybe put up a background or something, like a city
Something.
backdrop
Yeah, I mean,
off in the distance.
or do the room thing and just like put a bit, green screen
Green screen.
everywhere, and maybe do like 60% of a good job.
Oh my god.
No one cares. Everyone's watching this on their phone.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned the room though, because the first thing we did up there
Mhm.
was film you coming out of that doorway as
Yeah.
Tommy.
It was perfect. It's like the exact same doorway. It's so funny.
Yep.
Oh, I remember on lunch. So we have lunch and we're in this hospital, and it's like the wing that we're in is not being used, so we're all kind of just in these little rooms that are all haphazardly thrown together. But I went to the bathroom, and the lock on the door, it like broke, and I
Oh,
was stuck in
jeez.
there, and I'm texting everyone. I'm like, someone save me, I'm in the shitter.
No
uh
way.
yeah. So
I,
yeah, now we've got our supernatural stuff happening, and this stuff all
yeah.
plays well, and it's
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, man, it's
Now,
just.
now tell me what part is we shot some of this in the studio when she actually goes over the wall.
Oh
So how
yes.
did you comp that in?
So yeah, when she turns and she does the backwards walk, we shot her walking in like slow motion just towards the wall, so we had the shadow detail, and we
Yep.
have the plate, like we shot it clean as well. But then when we in the last day, I believe it might have been the last day, we shot this shot in front. That's her in front of
Yep.
just like nothing in the studio, and she's
Yep.
walking backwards and falling over just like this constructed wall that we had, and then it's all just
Yeah.
comped together. Do you remember the pizza? It looked like a pizza pop had been thrown at the ground when I was like, put the blood here and here, and he just like
Yeah.
nailed it with a cannon. It was just this
Yeah.
explosion
It's
of
like,
blood.
oh boy.
So I had to take the footage, paint out everything, and then
Oh
re-add
no.
her in and add my own blood.
You did good. You did good.
Uh, this was so now we get to meet Michael Pere.
Oh yeah, what a great way to meet him too.
This was
I
his last scene,
right.
because we did the whole clapping and stuff
Man.
after. But yeah, no, he was great. We had him for like 4 days
Yeah.
or something. And this was definitely an aggressive look, lighting wise.
I'm still very happy we stuck with it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I really like it.
I was worried that like people would get nauseous because they'd be like, strobe
Like
warning,
a strobe, yeah.
epilepsy warning, blah blah blah. But it's not that bad,
I feel like it was worse for us being on set
probably, because it was
than
so
it.
bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it plays fine. I do wonder why the ambulance is sitting there, though. You're like, I guess Charlie's dead. They're like, oh,
She's
let's just
dead.
go grab some food.
Let's go get some beers.
Yeah, we'll come back and wheel her to the morgue later.
She'll be fine. It's cold out here.
It's cinematic logic. They have to
And
stay for the
they
scene.
need lights in there for the
Yeah.
scene, so we need to keep the ambulance here.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
funny. So there's this insert coming up here. I shot this in Calgary last summer or last fall, because we had it on the schedule, but I
Oh
was just
man.
like, no, it needs to look like a different time. It can't be in
Yep.
snowy Buffalo. So I was just like, let's
Yep.
hold on to this. And then I randomly moved to Canada after shooting, and then my brother's backyard had a nice tree, so I was like, all right, screw it, I'll just shoot it here. Man, do you remember how cold that day was?
Every day.
Yeah, we shot
Every day.
we shot the epilogue in the morning, and then we went across to shoot that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was fun. So this is all stuff we shot together in that crazy storm.
Yeah.
Because we tried shooting this on day one, but we didn't have we were just behind. We couldn't get it, so we had
Yeah,
to
it
just
just
reshoot
wasn't.
it all.
Yeah, it just wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
But this all works out really nicely.
Yeah, it's cool. And Tony did all these crows. This crow at the end, I think, is so good.
Mhm.
It's like a $25 model on like Turbo Squid or one of those sites that you buy a
Wow.
model, and it had this animation path that worked really well, and Tony just did a great job compositing it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then back into the studio again. This was fun because this was like the only horror scene that we shot in the studio. Everything else
Mhm.
was all just like, we're chatting about life and feelings and stuff, and so we get our first and only real jump scare in the film too.
Mhm. And I love the lighting here. It's just like it's
Mm-hmm.
like some single, security light outside the dorms, and it's just has a really cool, especially how she's in the shadow here, and then she
Mm-hmm.
comes up into the light.
My only
Really nice effect.
Yeah, that's really cool. My only
Yeah.
regret is that when she gets up to the window, we didn't flip the camera or the key, because like
Right.
she's very front lit for it. It doesn't matter,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it could have been the other side, and it would have been nicely like edge lit.
Yeah, we could have cheated it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Next time.
Next time. Yeah, and there's a fake campus added in there,
Yeah.
out the window to pretend, because it's all just studio.
Now, did you generate those, or did you take them from some of the shots we got?
When I went back to Buffalo to shoot the pickups, I was shooting like an exterior of the library for the final shot of Joe's death. And
Right.
while I was up in that height, I was just like, let me just spin around and shoot the campus from that height. And so I just turned around.
Yeah.
But this was funny because Tony, the production designer, is just standing,
Just
in the
throwing 'em
corner,
out.
just tossing Duvetine at the window. And they like some of them, you can't even tell. Like I didn't adjust them at all. They all just look like
Yeah.
birds.
It totally sells.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah. Back to the diner.
It's funny because there's some extras behind them on the right, and that's the only time you see them is in the shot of Cam through the window. So that's my poor placement of background talent. But
I'm not used to having background talent.
I
What a
know.
luxury. But in case people don't know, also have a extensive history of some VFX work, so that's something that is nice to have you on set because you look at something and be like, oh, I could fix that later.
Was there something here that we did that? I mean, I know we shot the
No, I'm just kind of touching on that after we talked about the reflections in the windows and all
Right.
that kind of subtle stuff that you kind of add.
Do you remember
to the
when
shots.
we were shooting that shot of Cam, and I'm like, why do we not see any traffic in the windows? And then we turned
Yeah.
and Mac's giant Escalade is right there, and I'm like, move your damn car. We can't
Yeah,
see any of
yeah.
the reflections.
We need some cars out there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. This was cool. So we had this scene, and then we have the one later where it was just Danny and Michael.
mhm.
Yeah, it was cool. So we should have added music there. There's like that big jukebox. We have it in the first
Yeah.
scene. Well, that's just great.
Could have been some nice 50s rock and roll or something.
Mm-hmm.
A real upbeat track.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's not too much to say about this dorm room. It was, just nice and controlled. And the thing that I remember the most is that we had like 2.5 days or something there. And we had like 18 to 20 pages of just like pure dialogue. And those, those just take forever. So I just remember being like, you just had to move. So you couldn't really get too creative with it. You just had to like tell the story and get out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it all cuts together well. The hallway totally plays as the hallway. The sets.
Oh, it totally does.
The
yeah.
little fake wall they added works great. Just this little fake flat wall they put up. And then more reminders of snow. It's just like, guys,
Movie
it's
magic.
snowing. It's snowing.
It's snowing. Still snowing.
Mm-hmm. It was not. Yeah, that shot there of the blood, that's fully CG. Like Tony made that at the very
Yeah.
end because I didn't
Yep.
have a good shot of that wall.
Yep. And then this is back to the hospital rooftop.
This was the first thing we shot. So we had this beautiful snow coming, and that was fake snow. But we had real huge chunks falling. It looked so good, and then we get to these close-ups, and it had stopped. And I was like, damn it, it looked so good. Yeah, it was, that night sucked.
Yeah. Was it better? Was it better or worse than the bridge?
The bridge was the worst shoot day I've ever had. Ever. That was just the wet on the bridge. Like, no matter what you did, no matter what you wore, you were just penetrated by the rain. And, like, your body was just saturated with freezing water.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as much as the rooftop sucked and everything went wrong, the worst part was the rooftop was the day before the bridge. So we had a horrible day on the rooftop, and then the next day we're on a bridge doing an overnight in pouring rain.
Yeah.
And that was
windy.
So windy. The footage of you just like setting up the camera, and it's just getting pelted, and like Allison standing looking over the edge, and her hair is just in a blizzard and chaos, and it's just like...
Man,
It just felt like the gods were against us on this one.
100%.
Because we had it was like Wednesday we had the active shooter. Um, Tuesday we had that stupid outside the gym shoot scene where we just couldn't get
Yep.
it, and then Thursday was the roof. Friday was the bridge, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just like the weekend came, and it was like, how is next week gonna top this?
What's gonna happen next week?
Yeah, and I don't think it really ever got it that bad again.
No, the when we set the fire alarm off at the library, that was kind of
Oh
bad.
yeah,
But
that was Monday. That was Monday because we shot
right,
Joe her death
right,
on Monday, and we had the hard out at the library. So we were just
yeah,
like, oh my god, that was another bad day because we had zero
yeah,
time to shoot the scene.
yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, we'll talk about that one when we get to there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this was cool because we got to bring in this lady here, and she
Yeah,
was a
she
total
crushed
killer.
it. She crushed it. What did she have, like a day to prepare,
Yeah,
or
we
what?
cast her
Yeah,
like this was in the last week, so we probably cast her on Monday of that week and shot her on like Wednesday.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, she just came in and cried and would repeat and over and over. Yeah, I mean, once she had it, she was just totally locked
yeah,
in, which
yeah,
is really cool to see because like you have some actors that come in and when it's not their shot, like their back is turned to the camera or whatever, they give like 5% because they're not
yeah.
trying because they're saving it for their thing. But she would just sob every time.
Yep,
That's a tough thing to do.
yeah.
Just come in with no prior work, just like she has some sort of um, ability that's pretty dope.
She's gifted.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, how many different festivals did this play at?
I don't know. Not a ton.
Not a ton.
Like 5 or 6, I think. There might. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
some foreign ones as well, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Um, Information is scarce.
Scarce.
Yeah, on this one. Um, but yeah, I just like looking around the set. Just the walls are textured. Like they really did a good job on that set.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice little details in there.
Yeah, just the books, the camera, little things, the lights, just everywhere. It's just like fully done. It's pretty
Fully
sweet.
lived in. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Trying to think, cause we go back outside, and that was the Monday. Oh yeah, that was right. So we shot Monday, and we shot like the parking lot with them coming back from the liquor store. We shot
Mm-hmm.
Keo running up to Joe, and when she's trying to leave, and the scene that's about to happen, and it was just, I mean, you can see their breath in this next scene because it was so cold, and we had the entire morning there, and
Yeah.
it was just fully
And
bonkers.
it was weird because we were like in the shadow of the building
Uh huh.
constantly, and it was like 20 degrees colder
Yeah.
than everywhere else around us.
Right. This scene
And it was
coming
like,
up.
what? I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, this like you can just
This
see their
was,
breath. Like 'cause
yeah.
she's smoking, but if you look, there's also like that's just, I mean, that's smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. You can see it. It's all just
Brutal. Yeah.
brutal. Yeah. So that was the day 6, and we just were freezing, and and then we
Like,
go
what
into
are
the
we doing?
library.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Every day there was just something that was so hard.
Yeah.
And then this is funny too because this was that same day, but we shot with the windows down because the camera and like stuff we could see
Yeah.
reflections. So
Yeah.
those are fake windows put in. You can
Yep.
see the top of the windows at the bottom there, and it couldn't paint that out.
Yep.
But yeah, Shutter actually had me cut this scene down, which was actually the right call. It had like
Mm.
Danny was in the car listening to them talking, and then he gets out and he does all this stuff. Made way more sense. So that was a good pull.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, we got to do. I'd never done car mount before. I've always done green screen, which we still had to do in this, unfortunately. But for this one
Mm-hmm.
shot, because it's just such a long, lingering shot, we had the hostess tray set up here,
Yep.
which again sucks because I have to paint out the tray
Yeah.
and then add the window.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to have the window down.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a split frame because Keo didn't look there. I had to combine takes and stuff like that there. It's all hidden
That's,
stuff.
yeah, that's all that little
You can
VFX trickery that you can do.
you can see all the ground is just totally melted. In the scene at the door here, you can just see like water dripping because everything was melting.
It's just
Like if you look,
melting.
yeah, look between Joe and
Yeah.
Michael, just.
And that's our grip truck right behind Keo's shoulder there.
Oh yeah, yeah, the white box.
It's like, ow, I can see the truck.
Oh man,
But there was nowhere else to park the thing.
yeah,
I mean, there's no
that was such a busy
nowhere.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell. This looks like a moving truck or something.
It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I just remember because like at the night scene at the end of this, Keo's talking and like I had to paint out so many cars just to make them feel isolated.
Right.
So this was cool because we were inside of the school and like the art center. They have this historical building that they like rebuilt inside of the school. So this looks, like on the outside of that window, there's just like a boardroom.
Yeah.
So this was, just like beautiful. And they came in and they redecorated a lot of the stuff and whatnot. But yeah, this was sweet because we didn't have to do much and we just had like, the setup was pretty limited. You had light panels
it worked
and
great.
something on the ceiling.
Yep.
I think just skirted the chandelier, so.
Yeah, we swapped all the practicals out, and then depending what direction we were facing, we would put we had the light mats.
Right.
We would use those as some backlights or some fill if we needed it.
Yeah.
And then we just put like a little board on the table.
Right. Yeah, a little pizza box.
Catch their eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, but just like it's just another scene that just looks, this could be a really boring looking scene in the wrong spot, but everywhere you pointed the camera just had texture and detail and things like that. Yeah, no, it's cool. It was sweet. That was fun too because we had 2 days in there, and it's just you're in a controlled environment again. That's right because this ended week 2, and week 2 started so poorly, and then we finished off here, and we were just like, no, everything went well to finish the week. And we all had really high spirits going into week 3. And then week 3 was just chaos again because we did like the streets in Niagara, and we did. I mean, God, it felt like every day was just something massive. The cop scene, this was a tough shoot, man.
Yeah, it was like every day was a battle.
Every day. And you don't have like with Superhost or whatever. You're in the place, so you're like, even on Superhost we had situations where we would be shooting a scene, it wasn't working, and it was like, let's just do it again later, and we'll wrap our head around it, because right now we're trying to rush it, and it's going to be to the detriment of the film. So if we can re-tackle this tomorrow night, it'll be better for the film. But with this, you're like, you've got 1 day at a location, or 5 hours at a location before you move, so you have to make sure that you get everything. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Just needed more time.
Yeah, the pressure was on. Yep. You always can use more time.
Yeah, so this was, I think, the only scene in this room that we shot 2 cameras. So I had this is Komodo, the profile's Komodo. The front is you shooting across the table. That. But that was fun, because it was interesting when I was editing it, because I never saw, because, usually I'm watching the camera, I'm with you by the camera, watching on the little monitor on the camera so I can be close to the actors. But with this sequence, I was filming the B camera, so when I brought it into editing, I knew what I had for my stuff, so like I would see my stuff and I had this bias towards it, but then I would be like, oh, I need to kind of change something up, and I'd be like, oh my God, there's this whole other scene that I haven't seen, and figuring out how to cut these things together was surprisingly easy. But yeah, it looks great, and yeah, it was just cool to not know that you have certain things, and you're like, oh wow, like the big tilt up when Michael stands up and is like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, powerful, man.
Yeah, and
Very
that shot,
powerful.
remember she broke the chair?
Yep.
Oh man, what a nightmare that was.
Yeah. That
So I
was an
guess it wasn't.
expensive chair.
Yeah, it was like $2,500 to replace. So I guess it wasn't all good.
No.
Never.
There's always something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad it wasn't me
Mm-hmm.
that broke a chair.
Right. Can't blame the lead of the movie.
No.
But I mean, it wasn't her fault either.
No. Water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Hopefully we made it right. Hopefully someone got the chair fixed.
They couldn't.
I don't know how that...
They had to buy a new one. They bought one from like
Oh,
St.
man.
Louis and had it shipped to because it.
Jeez.
Yeah. Fortunately, it wasn't that desk in the corner because that was like which president was it? It was like Woodrow Wilson or something.
I don't even remember.
Man,
Yeah.
that was so weird because he was just like, they're like, we have to cover it. We can't go anywhere near this desk. It was a former president's desk.
Yep.
Grover
Yep.
Cleveland, maybe? I can't remember who it was.
One of them.
Yeah. Long dead.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the after that chair incident, the tone in the room definitely shifted to like...
You could hear a pin drop.
And then
It's
remember
like,
the plate?
oh.
The plate that was above the
plate,
door?
yeah,
Just
yeah.
we hear shattered glass. We're like, was
I
that
know,
ours or
man.
theirs? Oh, my God.
Oh,
What a
gosh.
mess. Yeah. But it's all good.
It's all
Everybody's
part of the
happy,
process. It's all part of the process.
apparently.
So yeah, be careful when you go into places like this.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was the perfect space. It was crazy that it even existed. Because
Yeah.
you walk in, you're like, oh, this is Ruby's place. It's
Yeah,
just-
like you said, it just goes right out into a boardroom, and
Yeah.
then there's like a hallway right on the other side, and
right.
you would never think it would be in there.
Yeah. Eventually, I'll put together a big behind-the-scenes look at some of the stuff because we have so much cool footage from behind the scenes.
I know. Yeah.
And we have that little BTS vignette that they put together, but it's, it's pretty cursed. Like it doesn't really go that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This scene's cool. I'm happy with how it turned out. And that was like a time where we had two cameras, so I can do one take and have Cam,
Yep.
cut from
Yep.
yours to mine, and it was great.
Mhm.
No, I mean, just in terms of directing, this was a cool experience just to figure out how to do these things.
Yeah.
Because these kind of scenes are always brutal. That tilt is great.
Oh yeah.
And the rack
Power.
focus, yeah.
Power.
Mike
Love
and
it.
Mandy pulling focus.
Yeah, they crushed it.
I
It's
you
fun
could
when.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, it's fun when you and I are both on a camera and we're just rocking, man. We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and I will say, like, that is one of my favorite things with working with you because we've worked together for, 2009 was when we met.
Long time.
You were at
Yeah.
AC on that short, and then
Yep.
I think the first time I hired you was on like a music concert thing, and we met downtown
Yeah.
on Fremont, and we shot some outdoor concert.
Yep.
And then it just kind of kept going from there. But
Just spiraled.
yeah, it was. No, I mean we've got such a great rapport on set. Like there's no ego. It's just like, I can do things, and you can suggest. There's never any worry about that, which is
Right.
pretty
Yeah, I
unique.
love it. I love it.
The dynamic is really set in stone, and so there can be scenes, and a lot of the days we would be so in sync with one another shooting. Where we could just be doing everything and reading each other's minds and just it was so efficient when we needed to be efficient, and I don't think you get that normally.
No. There's things that we don't need to discuss
Right.
with each other that would normally slow someone else down
Totally.
and give you less time with the actors.
The
you know?
the problem is when you need something from someone else and you have to explain it to them, and it's just
Yeah.
faster if one of us does it because we
Right,
know exactly what it is. So the time to explain is just wasted time, especially at the end of the night when you're you don't have every second matters.
Yeah,
'cause
you're on fumes and you're
Yeah.
just yeah.
So being able to just have that closeness and stuff is pretty cool.
Was this the night that we got pizza?
Well, they got pizza.
It's so late. Yeah.
I don't think we got any because they
Someone
brought them
got
up.
pizza.
Yeah, that was a bad night too. Because remember we weren't sure if we should shoot that scene that we just watched. We were like, let's wait
Yeah.
for dark. It was
Yeah.
still light,
Yeah.
and then it took
Yeah.
forever for the
Yep.
sun to drop. And I was just sitting there, and you're like, it was your idea. You're like, I'm so sorry. I'm like,
I
it's
know.
fine. It's fine. We
Oh,
just have to shoot fast.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was one of those things where the crew is like counting every shot at the end of the night. Like I'm like
yeah,
trying to combine setups. We had that Dana dolly on the ground, and I was like using
yeah.
it for two different scenes. I'm like, Anna, get in there, go, Keo, Michael, go,
uh,
and just trying to get through it.
yeah.
And just leaving that day, and yeah, everybody got pizza, and we were still working, so we didn't get any. Just watching everybody eat pizza, and we're just dead. That's about.
Some nights those van rides back to the hotel were just so quiet. It was just
Yeah.
like,
Just totally beat up.
yeah.
Oh man.
Jeez.
I remember shooting this. This felt good. This was at the end of that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
active shooter day, day 3.
Yep, this was down in the basement
Yeah,
of the, yep.
of the dorm, or what was it? Was it the dorm
It
or the office building?
it was like
Former
an
dorm.
office yeah, it was an
Yeah.
office building now, yeah.
Yeah, converted dorm.
But just
Um
this nice big like rec area,
mhm.
which worked out for us.
Yeah.
Back to the stage.
Yeah. This was one of the last things we shot.
Mhm.
I like that eye. Oh, man. Yeah, this movie. All that blood's animated in post.
Yeah. Now, did you come up with a lot of the symbolism and stuff, or was that taken from existing sources?
No, that was us. It was like Ryan when he wrote the first draft, because we wrote this big Bible together, and
Mhm.
then he the 3 lines and stuff, that was all him, and then the
That's
let it
great.
lie, let it
Yeah.
die, um, which played bigger when the movie name was Let It Lie.
Yeah, that was the
This
original title.
Yeah, so we actually had more of this stuff, but it got cut down when the movie changed to Puppetman, because it was just like it didn't have the connection anymore.
Yeah, and even the LIL is
The
like
three
three.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, the symbolism worked great. But it
You
is what it is.
you guys are so clever.
So we're back to the diner now, and this is I still hate myself because we have this great profile shot outside, but
Mhm.
I had when I was editing it, it was just like such simple coverage of the scene that I was just like dying to have something really wide and like something profile, just something to kind of cut the tension.
From the
Ultimately,
inside? Yeah.
yeah, from the inside, because it's just so intense in their faces.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was one of those things. You just get to cutting and you're just like, oh shit, I wish I had this. But it's fine. It's all intense. There's not much
Yeah.
levity in here. Yeah, so we go back to Calgary in a second when we see the guy hanging. And there was supposed to be a longer scene there. Like, it was going to show him actually setting up the rope. And, like, as she talks, we see this whole sequence play out. But some things happened when we were shooting. And that's my brother's shadow. But, yeah, we shot the very bare minimum of this guy. This is the 3rd time I've worked with him, Jason.
Oh
He's just
man.
like a Calgary dude and just a reliable guy.
Ugh, that is brutal.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's all that makeup on his stomach is added in post because
Man.
it all got smudged when we had the accident. But yeah, fun times. I just remember Keo falling asleep during her takes. He'd like tap my shoulder and be like, "Keo's sleeping," and Allison's just talking to a sleeping. We did the cast commentary yesterday, and she was laughing about that. Like, I would try
Oh
and do these
boy.
emotional scenes, and you're falling asleep. So talking about that other actress that's giving it 100%.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh
opposite of
boy.
that.
Yeah. Guy was
Yeah.
tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting into the big stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that house. Yeah, we were running on 0 time at this point. Oh man. Yeah, so this was like we basically just had camp day 2, and we had to do our first death scene, and it was like an
God, was
intense
it that
one.
early?
Yeah, it was day
Man,
2. We had the entire
man.
afternoon for it,
Yeah.
and there was a plan, and it went. I mean, I would say this went pretty smoothly. I know we did go into overtime a bit because we just had to, but
Yeah.
um, no, it worked well. It looked really good. The setup was so simple. There was just so much detail shit to shoot, so we just
Yeah, I
had to.
remember. I remember that was another time where it was the two of us just
Hmm.
rocking a camera each, and we got so many angles of that.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, it was
Except
really good.
we didn't get one because we were shooting 2 cameras for some bits, and there was the very final take where he's really struggling. He's giving 110%, like he's at the end of his day. We're at the end of ours, and you're over the top shooting the close up, looking down at his face, and I'm off to the side shooting on a long lens, just like tights of his like chest and his like muscles and like all the he was so just like vascular, and his everything
Yeah.
was rippling, all this stuff. I had these great shots, and then when I got to the editing room, I loaded the clip and I reverse recorded. I hit
You-
the record button after the take. So you go, it's
Yeah.
like, Cam, are you okay? And he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was. And I was like, oh my god. So we had to do a pickup
Oh.
shoot in my neighbor's garage,
Yeah.
and it works great, but
Yeah.
just not quite
Can't
the
even
same.
tell.
Yeah, and this was cool because we had this library, but all the tables were white, so we had
Yep.
Frank and his team cover them with fake dark wood
And we added all those lamps.
and all the lamps and
Yep.
stuff. We made it look super cinematic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is good. You can talk about this little process, fake lighting.
So yeah, this is all poor man's process in the studio, which was really nice to be able to put the camera where we needed it, without having to rig it to the moving car and have a trailer and everything. And I think it turned out really well. It
Plays
definitely
great.
sells. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Um,
if otherwise you do green screen or something, and then you're comping and it's dark and it's hard. That doesn't
Yeah.
need it. You don't look. You're just
No.
looking at them. I
Yeah.
would totally do that again.
Yep.
Because on Z, we did something similar with the moving lights. All this inserts was all
Mhm.
shot way later in my
Yeah.
basement. But we shot the moving light things, but with green screen, and it was just awful to key that.
Right.
But yeah, this was interesting because in the script, none of like this book stuff was in it. Like there was very little because the way that it was written was Cam's death scene pretty much happened entirely, and then it cuts to Joe, and then she freezes, and it ends. So like if you watch this scene, she has this opening hello, and then we never see her talk again.
Yeah.
Like watch, you never see her mouth. It's over her shoulder.
Yep.
This is all ADR, just to give the scene some more stuff, and then she freezes.
Yeah.
So like, but I mean like, we shot this. We had the entire afternoon, but we were so far behind that we only had one take per setup. So we had to come back and that phone shot. Remember we shot that
That
on
was my kitchen floor.
No, it was
Or
my
was it
bathroom.
your bathroom?
We were shooting body cam, and we did the extra shots, like the fire on the
Oh
hair.
yeah. Yeah, it
on my
was your
driveway,
bathroom.
and then
Okay.
my
Yep.
bathroom. That was the
Yep.
very last
Jeez.
shot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so yeah, we just had we had that shot. Those
Yep.
were in my basement. The inserts are all in my basement. And then yeah, we had like the wide, medium, close, and then that was like it. We didn't have any time.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating.
That was brutal.
Yeah. But now, yeah, I mean it works way better with the double death thing.
And remind me, was it written this way to intercut between them,
No,
or was that a
it
thing
was
you
one and
decided
then
in
the other.
post?
It was a post
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It works out really good.
Yeah, because it was like the first cut, I cut it to the script, and it was just like, obviously Joe's going to die, so there was no tension there. It was just like, oh, we're just waiting for it. So in this way, it allows the audience to see both concurrent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we just really had the time to do this scene
Yeah.
at least, right?
Oh yeah, we have so much coverage of this
Uh-huh.
scene. It helps,
Yeah,
You
so
just have
there's
what you need.
a lot of these close-ups that you see or that are really tight, like of his face, are at in my neighbor's
Yep.
garage. None of these, but there's a
Yep.
bunch. I think when he lifts up the bar, though
That one
that
was, yeah.
yeah, and that was funny because he didn't have like you can see his veins in these shots because he's really working. And when we
Mm-hmm.
redid the thing, he wasn't pumped like that, so I had to find images and like comp it onto his skin of
Jeez, man.
rippling, like
Oh
veins
my god.
pulsing. So stupid.
Wow. All the little details.
Yeah.
Man.
And I was most nervous about this and the VFX and stuff like that, but we went out one of the studio days we had like just a fire table. Remember? It
Yeah.
was like me, you,
Yep.
Frank, Matt, and Tesla, and we were just like lighting this book on fire and just like throwing kerosene on it. And we had this like maquette. Matt built this like chicken wire maquette of her top half so that we could get the way the fire moves around her head for the end of it. And yeah, it was just so easy.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
footage was awesome. We just like reshot the scene with the fire,
Mm-hmm.
and only the fire, and then it was just like an easy comp. That was pretty sweet. So all
And to
these,
go back. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, nothing.
I was just saying to go back to the poor man's process with her on fire. That's all it was people waving lights around
Yeah.
behind her and on her face, and a lot of VFX in there and makeup.
Yeah, I think this sequence in total had just between the two of them was oh god, I can actually check. Let me check because it was a lot.
Yeah. Man.
Let's see, it was Reel 5, Joe Death, 49 shots just between those two,
Jeez.
plus this one here, 50.
And this one's totally constructed
Yeah, so
digitally, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. A lot of compositing.
Yeah, but that was fun. I mean, yeah, again though, just like day 2 and day 6, just shooting those insane sequences.
Just getting right into it.
Yeah. And this bird, those are all fake. That was the other bird that we had in the Ruby's place. I just like cut it out and put it into that shot.
Wow.
So stupid. So here's some green screen. This stuff's fine. It looks okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one, when they leave the prison, it makes me want to die. I just couldn't get. There's 2 shots in it. The rest of it's okay, but there's 2 shots that just don't play.
Yeah. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah. That's all.
What a great car, though, man. That's such a great movie car.
Yeah, it was so hard to get. They like sent me these cars. I'm like, that one, and they're like, well, I don't know if we can get it. I'm like, get that one. It has to be
That's
that
the
one.
one.
That's
Yeah.
the movie car. Yeah, it's important. Has to, if you just got like a standard Camry or something like that, it would be like,
No, yeah.
this is lame. This was
Has
shot.
no character.
So I went back to shoot all these shots of this building and stuff like that, and that's actually Clarissa's feet in my basement.
Aha.
But I shot. I went back to Buffalo in December, and there was no snow, so I had to shoot these pickup shots, and I couldn't shoot the ground.
shoot around the snow.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we got Zachary. He's here. He's got his real beard. He came with that, and then he shaved it for the intro, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. And this was back at the studio. We built this whole room here.
Yeah, week 3, days 14 and 15, we shot his 2, and then we shot the opening of the film on 16 on the next Monday. But yeah, this was cool. I mean, I think it looks great. They built this thing, they textured it, they have the phones and stuff. It all looks great. My only, and it's not even a problem. It's just it was so hard to shoot because you're in a tiny box. Like we shot profiles, but I mean, David, he's covering his face with the phone, so you can't cross cut those two. So we basically just have 2 angles. We've got this front-on one, the tight one, and then we've got the slightly wider one that I was shooting.
Yeah.
When he shows his handcuffs, it cuts to a little bit wider, but that's it. It's fine.
I think I remember us joking about that too. How we were in one of the biggest sound stages in the world, and we're like shooting ourselves into a little tiny box.
Yeah, because one of the reasons we shot in Buffalo is that there was a shut down prison that was available to us. And so we went there before production. We did a big scout day, and we drove out there, and it was like an hour away from Buffalo or something like that. And it was there was a whole wing of a prison or a whole building in a prison that was not in use. And so like we went there, we had had the razor wire, had all the stuff. It looked amazing. But
Yeah.
then we went
Yeah.
inside and it was fully empty. And
Yeah.
that was tough.
It's
Because
like, oh, we're gonna have to dress this entire place.
yeah, like bring all this stuff an hour away. We're gonna have to do a
Yeah.
full, and it just made sense to just do it in the studio, and it works fine. It's great. But yeah, now he's clean
And this
shaven.
was, yep, this was back at the first opening house.
Mm-hmm.
We shot the opening in.
Mm-hmm.
His fingernails were so grody.
Yeah, he didn't shave after he got cast. He stopped, or not shaving, cutting his nails.
Yeah. Ugh.
I love that. It's such a good detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shot. This was his first scene that he came in to do. And do you remember how like into this he was? Like he wouldn't talk to anyone. He went full method.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And then day 2, we shot his execution, and he was just like the happiest guy in the world. He was just like making dumb jokes and stuff. It was like, what happened here? That was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, freshly shaved face. Or no, I guess that's like he left stubble, and then we clean shaved him for the ritual. So there was 3 levels of beard. Interesting.
Right.
I forgot about that.
And so then this room that they're in now is going to turn into the execution room.
And the meeting room where they meet before the execution.
Yes.
It's all the same room.
Yep.
We just like had walls flown in and stuff. Frank and his team, they were rock stars.
Yeah. And that happened overnight.
Yeah, they did it overnight paint. They had to paint the room,
Yeah.
and they had to build the viewing area and stuff. That was crazy. I just remember Frank was, we came in on the day to shoot the execution, and Frank was just like chain smoking. He's like, I can't. He's like, just lose. I was like, dude, you just need to go home. You did a great job. You need to go home. So I sent him home. It's like, we've got this. You did everything you could do. There's nothing. We're not going to benefit by having you here. You did a great job. He was just like on 48 hours, no sleep or something.
Dude.
Fully
what
insane.
a trooper.
Mm-hmm.
What a trooper.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's so good. He cares.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're at the Waterworks building.
Yeah. But it totally fits the part.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Just anything that's old and bricks like that, it just looks great.
Yeah, and it sucked because like we had to shoot Ruby coming, we had to shoot them coming to the prison, all this stuff, and then we had to wrap out Ruby and wrap out this location, and then drive like an hour to Niagara to shoot the street scene.
Yeah.
And so we had half of a day to shoot that massive scene with cars and water and all that stuff, and it was just like, that shot kills me.
One. Yeah.
The rest of there's 2 of these, and then like that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like we didn't have the right plates for it, so last spring I went out and like it was still snowy in Calgary, and I drove and I did a bunch of plates and I tried it and I was like, they don't look right because the lighting's so specific, and so I was like. I didn't, so I went out and I took my drone, and everything was starting to melt, so I was like, this is my last chance. So I just held my arm out the window of the car as I was driving, holding the drone, because it had a stabilizer on it, and I was just like flooring it down these little highways in the country, just getting all these plates. Like, those look fine.
Yeah.
It's just that one exterior, the 2 exterior shots that make me hate myself.
Nah, they're fine.
Yeah. So when I did the cast commentary, they were like, this morning was really frustrating. Do you remember what else we shot that day? Because we added this to this day. It was like, because we were at the school here, and we shot this really quickly, and everybody else was somewhere else. Maybe they were in
I don't recall.
Yeah, where were they? They were like, Frank, remember, because of the light on the ceiling, Frank like set it up and then left, and we were like, we didn't have anybody. So it was just like a very small core of us as we were shooting this, and then we had to go somewhere else, and I can't remember where it was. But it must have been a Michael Pare day because we had him. So I'm like, maybe we went from there to shoot the epilogue, like they were maybe setting up over there. I can't remember, but I just know that we had to shoot this and just like bailed. I guess we could look at the call sheets. This would have been like day, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know, maybe 16? Oh, no, it wouldn't be 16. It'd be like day 17, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah, I
this,
don't know.
yeah, it was just weird. Um, frick, I can't find it. I don't want to waste too much
I
time
can't
Googling
either. Yeah,
things.
it's all good.
Um, yeah, so then we go from here and we're in the Ukrainian dance hall.
Man, this place was incredible.
Do you remember we scouted it the day before we shot
Oh yeah,
on our
absolutely.
lunch, which happened quite a bit.
Didn't we do that on every location?
pretty
It was,
pretty
felt
much.
like it, man.
I know.
But yeah, that was a great location. And so was this street. This street worked out really nice for us.
Yeah, it was good. But man, just
Um,
so cold.
yeah. And it was another one of those things, like you said, we'd already done half of a day before showing up to do this scene,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so,
This was the very last VFX shot I did. So I like added reflections of cars until I just ran out of time. So you can see a
yeah,
little bit of cars passing
sure.
in the windows. But then it
Sure.
just stops and just I was so burnt and it had to be
Yeah.
done. So I was like 4 a.m. I'm like I can't. I'm quitting. Render. And I
Yeah.
just walked
Yeah, yeah.
away.
Oh, man. It works. It works, man. This is such a crazy shot, though.
Yeah. And
There's
I
a
get
lot going on.
there's no options too. So yeah, we had like moving lights. I mean, you could talk about what we were doing here.
Yeah, so, we had a huge dolly track across the street. Obviously, we push into her close up, and then we pull back with her as she steps into the street. We had our gaffer and um, our grips holding lights in the street and like shining them across her face to look like cars. And then the rest is like sound effects and visual effects and stuff that you've added to sell it. But yeah.
Do you remember this when we were? Oh, I just found the call sheet for that day. So okay, so
So
this
what was it?
it was we went to Ruby's house. So all that stuff at Ruby's house we shot that day. So we had to shoot that
Oh my
first,
gosh.
and then
Okay.
how many? It was 7 and an eighth page. Anyways, okay, bridge. We're on the bridge. Absolutely nightmarish. So
Yes.
we scouted it a couple times. We went there at night when we'd be shooting. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was like a little breeze, fine. But the night we got there, I mean, look at her hair. It's fully crazy.
The wind was just incredible. It was probably 20, 30 mile an hour winds.
And
It was crazy.
and just like the setup took forever. Everybody was working at such a slow pace because they were
Yeah.
so cold. And like, yeah, all this is VFX. Every single shot in this is a VFX because I had to add more rain. I had to add water below because the water was frozen on this side of the river. Yeah.
And these comps are great though. Everything with her on the railing obviously was shot in the studio.
Yeah, so
And
we had
she had
this
a wire rig.
the stunt team come out.
Yeah.
And they did all the rigging and stuff like that and just pieced it together. But man, I mean, look at her chattering. That was not
That was
acting.
real. That's real. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a long scene, not a ton of pages. It was like half a page or something like that. But it took every second of that day and like every ounce of our strength to get it.
Yep.
Just awful.
That was a tough one. And I think, like you were saying earlier, that was day 5.
Yeah, day 5. I wanted to
Right
die.
right after the roof the day before.
Yeah. Do you remember the PA, the driver, what she did? They had the van,
Yeah.
and she flushed the keys down the toilet accidentally.
And that was that day too.
That
right?
was on the bridge, yeah.
Yeah.
So the actors couldn't get home until they got a new
Oh.
van figured out and all that stuff. It was so funny.
It was par for the course, man.
That first week, oh, it was
Par for the course.
absolute insanity.
Part of me wishes we had a behind the scenes crew for the entire shoot, like just to
Yeah.
capture all that.
Well, we had Amy for this day, and like a couple, I think 5 days we had her, and she shot
Yeah.
some amazing stuff, just pictures
Definitely.
and video.
Definitely.
She's so talented at that. So I think,
Yeah.
she probably added like 2 hours of behind the scenes footage that we have,
Yeah.
which is dope. But
yeah.
I wish we had it on the bridge and on the roof
Yep.
just to see
Yep.
how how awful it was. But yeah, I'm looking at the call sheet on day 11, and it's police 2 7/8 pages, and then we had to do a location move to Ruby's house. and then we shot 9 more scenes. So we shot Ruby and Rosen at the van, so at the very end, and then we have Ruby driving with green screen, and then Charlie arriving at the house, and then they all arrive at the house after Charlie died, and then the crew meets Ruby at the front door, and then Joe meets with Ruby at night to get the book, and then Danny drives into Ruby's yard, which we just saw, and then Danny and Michael leaving. So it was so much.
So, yeah, I keep a diary of production for every movie I do. And on that first line on that day says, "This day went to shit from minute 1."
Yeah, because, oh, man. I mean, just that location move was insane. I think we sent most of the crew early. So we just had, like, me, you, and Raffi, and then, like, Jesse doing audio. So there wasn't that many people there. The rest were setting up at Ruby's, but... Yeah. Jesus, it was just awful.
Just one of those things, man. It just one thing happens and it snowballs and then...
Yeah, and that dolly shot, we just we had a little track on the ground. We used it there. We used it on that shot, and then on Joe's scene, we used the same dolly track.
Yep.
We just put it down once. It was like, this is our shot. This is our shot.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, no, we do come back to this room. So we were there a lot. Just 2 days, but there was a ton shot there. Mm-hmm. And then this was the very end of the shoot. We shot the outside shots. So we actually, all of this we shot in the last day. We shot all of this, the poor man's process. And then we shot, when everybody else was celebrating, like, hey, we wrapped the film. Me, you, Allison, and Keo jumped into a car, and we drove, and we picked up a couple driving shots that we could use. This was the last shot of the film. On principle. That exterior of her parking.
Yep.
Oh, my God. But, again, this was another 2-camera shoot, and it was cool. I mean, it's such a simple scene. But it works. It's dark. You can't tell that they're in a studio because it's dark, but...
Yep.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, it totally works.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember this, but like for some reason, both of them had the giggles when they were doing this, and so I had to shoot. They're never in the same shot because I'm acting opposite of Keo and I'm acting opposite of Allison. So
I do remember that
they just couldn't look at each other without laughing. So it's this horrific scene, but they couldn't do it. So I was like, she's looking at me there.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me. And I'm just doing it all because they just couldn't not laugh. God. You get to day 20 and everyone's just so loopy.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So I was told by, like, when we played in LA, I wasn't in the theater, but Tony was there, and the VFX guy, and he was like, "Yeah, your black levels on the blood on his death scene were way too dark, and it looked bad." And I was watching it last night when we did the commentary, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't see it. Maybe you'll see it. Yeah, you check it. It's just when he's fully dead, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I don't know. I'm usually okay about that. Whatever. But yeah, Keo brought it here.
This is a creepy scene.
Keo said he bought one of those $20 bills from, like, the Reed Went Alone.
Oh, really? Nice.
He gave Frank 20 and got, because these were real 20s.
Yeah.
But imagine that going into circulation. Like, she can't know you know. Opening up, getting that change at a grocery store or something. You're like, creepy, the hell does this mean?
Wow.
Yeah. That's so funny. I'm trying to see. So maybe you'll spot it. Because I graded all my stuff on my own monitors. And, like, did all the VFX. So there's some added blood there. Like, some of the runny stuff is added.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
That's great.
It might be on just the head crush right here. But I'm like, I'm looking for it. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's the stuff on the steering wheel.
It's great.
I don't know.
That's great.
Who cares? Maybe it's that blood. I can't tell.
We get the point. He's dead.
This was funny because it was like we shot this after the Ukrainian dance hall with the cops, and it
Yeah.
was pouring rain, and we're
Yeah.
like, we all pulled up, and we're just like, we have to shoot this. There's not a lot. It's like 2 shots of her, one or close
Yeah.
and a tight, or close and
But
a wide.
it was a big dolly setup, so it
Yeah.
was, it was a significant setup, but it worked out.
Yeah. And then we're here, and this is a fun scene.
Mm-hmm.
And this was funny too because we shot the scene with Al talking about what happened. Like, she killed 4 of my guys or whatever, and in the script it said 5 guys, and then we shot the thing, and they were like, "Oh, we only have 3 cops
Right.
or 4
Right.
cops," so I had them change it to 4. And then when we got to set here, they're like, "Oh, we have 5 cops." I was like, God damn it, we don't
You're
have.
killing me, guy.
Yeah, so I had to get him to ADR it, and it's fine. But
Uh,
yeah, it's just one of those things because it wasn't supposed to play out this way. But it's cool that she's surrounded.
yeah.
Like, it was just
No,
gonna be the 3, and then the guy coming from
Yeah.
behind adds a nice thing.
I love all this.
Yeah, this is great. It's total Terminator sounding music too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was another simple. It was just like one light, right?
Yeah, there was an overhead light up there. We put our
On the
lights
vending
up
machine.
there. Yep, and then we did a little bit of an ambient lift with some of our lights as well,
Mm-hmm.
and we gave some edges to some people. But yeah, overall, most everything we just tried to keep things simple and
Yeah.
kind of natural looking.
Because the cameras are all. I mean, everything's so good. It's all composition and
Yeah.
where the light is and where you're controlling it to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember this being nervous about editing this because I was missing some shots that I should have gotten. I won't mention them so no one knows, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's. Yeah, so we had to go from this to that exterior, and and you're just
Right.
dead after shooting a scene like this. It's so much stuff.
Oh, it's draining. Yeah.
I like the cops in the background of that shot. Oh, the blood pooling around their heads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually picked her up there. Remember, he'd like grab her and walk
Oh,
out of
yeah,
the room,
man.
and it was like,
Yeah.
dude, you don't have to do that. It's a close up of your feet.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting close to the end game now. Yeah, it was interesting because we always have kids in the movie, and then all of a sudden we have these 2 adults, and they just look really good on camera. Like, his face is so good,
Oh yeah.
and her face, she looks great,
Yeah.
and she's so
It's just-
little.
It's just classic.
She's
Yeah.
standing on apple boxes because he's like
Yeah.
6'2", and she's like 5'1", just so small. Yeah, and it was funny. I remember shooting this because she's talking so much mumbo jumbo. Like, all the stuff she's saying is just like made up supernatural stuff. No real basis in reality. It's all fake. But you could tell she was struggling with it because it's so
Right.
much memory stuff.
And good on Michael for taking her seriously.
Right.
He's like, lady, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I love that. Love that set. It was so fun.
Yeah, man.
And then Allison just gets to lay on a table and sleep. That was the last insert I shot in my basement.
Right on. Yeah.
I remember she kept burning her thumb on that lighter because
Yeah.
it was such a small lighter. It's a cool shot.
Yeah, another use of our dolly.
Yeah, remember Boom's way up and like looks down at them, and so you could see
Yeah.
the candles make the 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
It just was too long, too slow.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, there's not much to talk about here because it was all just so simple.
Yeah, so over the table in the middle of the room, there was a chandelier. We put LED bulbs in there.
Mhm.
We skirted it off so they wouldn't shine onto the back walls, and we could control how much light was on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see we have an LED bulb in that sconce there. I think we added all those candles.
I think, yeah, production added those, Frank
Yeah,
and his two guys.
and yeah, it was, like we were saying, we're working at really low light levels for most of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it became about controlling contrast
Mm-hmm.
and ratios. And because our lighting package was pretty simple, it wasn't crazy. The
Yeah.
biggest lights we had was two M18s that we used for the diner scenes.
Did we ever use them
Uh,
again? Maybe the bridge, I guess we used them.
we had them at the bridge.
But we didn't use them on the
Um,
roof. We planned to, and we didn't.
yeah, we ended up using
Light mats.
the LEDs
Yeah.
because they drew less power.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm like, when did we ever use the MATs again?
I think just a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm trying to remember what's. I don't know. Shooting this movie was bonkers.
It really was, man. It was a trip.
It was a freight train. Oh
Great
my God.
memories, though.
Uh-huh.
Great memories.
Man,
So we
this
did
stuff
what?
was-
We did 20 days?
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
principal days,
And
and
then,
then I shot a lot of pickups.
yeah.
Did we
Yeah.
do? Yeah, we did pickups at your house. Was that the only ones we did with? I did with you? Because I moved pretty soon after,
Yeah.
like a couple months later.
Yeah, so it was just a couple at my house that one night,
Yeah.
and then you did a lot on your own as well, and then when
Mhm.
I was just recently out doing the other movie, we
Oh
shot
yeah,
those
yeah, that's right.
last few, yeah.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah. So there's another cool movie car here, the station wagon.
It was like fully not usable to shoot the
Yeah.
interior though, because it was like all
Yeah.
it was all wood.
Yep.
Now that's a drone shot outside of my community.
Mm-hmm. So it's an international production.
Yeah.
This was
Yep.
shot on an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. iPhone way jacked up and monitoring
Yeah.
it from my watch.
Yep.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. And he's actually in that same room right where that cop
Oh
just
yeah, where
killed
the
himself.
cop just killed himself. That's funny.
Yeah, that's where that desk was.
Yeah. I wanted to add razor wire to that thing, but I was just so beat.
Yeah. I think it sells. I think
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No one's thinking
It's
about it.
totally a prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then this upcoming shot in a second, that was just like a quick throw-in shot when they're walking down the hall, because we didn't have
Yeah.
any time.
Yeah.
So we just had to. We didn't have a prison hallway, so this was our home base in the classroom building.
Yep. So that's at Buffalo State right there.
Yeah, and it had those cool lines leading into Michael's head, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
More puppet. And yeah, we didn't have an audio guy there, so we shot that because he was like down doing. I can't remember. This was at the beginning of the day. Oh, he was doing the EPK with like Anna and Angel.
Oh, right.
So he was running
Okay.
audio, and we're like,
Like,
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
yeah. Then this was the second scene with him.
Yep.
In the same room. They pulled out the phones over lunch, and they dressed it with the table and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
And once again, I didn't get a profile of them at the table. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I don't know what I'm thinking. But, yeah, you get some good hand shots of him here with his long nails, his gross nails.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that we shot this 2 different ways with her? We shot her, like, one where she's clearly not herself, and then we shot it again where she's
Yeah.
more Michael and, like, sadder
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, it would be cool to have the option, and it was obvious which one was right and which was wrong, but at the time it was just fun to have the freedom to do both because we
Right.
had some time.
Yep.
We definitely had time to shoot a profile of this room.
Dang it.
Yeah. It's fine, though.
Oh, these are all great moments though here between these two. I mean, this is a great scene.
Yeah, Zachary's great.
Yeah.
Just that beard. I think a lot of people think it's fake because he doesn't have it in the opening, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
why would he have that? But no, that's just him. When I did ADR with him later and we did like a FaceTime and he has the beard again.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's pretty impressive growth.
Wow. I certainly couldn't get a beard like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't do it.
I can't do anything.
I
Yeah.
can't.
But yeah, the greens and stuff, they looked really good because they painted all
Mm-hmm.
that. Those walls
Yeah,
were just white or blue or something.
something, yeah, but we picked out that like beautiful institutional green color
Mm-hmm.
and they just slapped it up there and it looks so good.
His nails. So
That's
gross.
so disgusting.
Yeah. Do you remember we shot in that corner with her? So that was her last shot. We shot that green
Yeah.
screen because
Yeah.
we had the scene inside that little box that they built, and it was just
Yeah.
like this doesn't work. And there was like a
Yep.
crow hitting the glass behind
Yep.
her, and it was just like none of this is working.
Yeah.
So I just took a shot that we had from that hallway, painted out the people in it, and added it behind her because we didn't have
No
a shot
kidding.
there.
Man. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
then again, we're back in the same room.
Same
It's
room.
now the execution room. We
So-
got a lot of mileage out of that room.
So how did they do the window? Did they add that overnight? Like they cut into the wall or something? Because the window wasn't there in the previous scene.
From what I remember, the window is built into the building.
Okay,
So
and then they covered it. Okay,
Yeah, they covered it.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it
but
wouldn't
then
have. Yeah,
yeah. But then
Okay.
for our last shot, we go through the window. So they had
Yeah.
to actually remove the glass.
right.
And they were being super careful because it's like a security glass that they don't make anymore.
Right.
So they didn't want to break
Yeah.
it.
It has
Yeah.
like the chicken wire built in and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This. This was a tough one to figure out, but I don't know. We had a whole day for this, and it still wasn't enough time. There's just so much
You can
to
always
it.
use more time, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But it was like, yeah, we shot Allison and Karen, and I was just like, there was nothing to watch. I'm just sitting right off camera and like reading the scene to them and like trying to be dramatic about it, doing
Yeah.
like "Are you afraid of the dark?" type retelling of the story, like. And then now your dad's looking at you, and she just has to react off of nothing. It's so funny. Making movies is sometimes hilarious. How
I
stupid
love
it
it,
is.
man. I love it.
What did something happen when we were shooting him here? I do remember when we were shooting past his feet. Those were my feet, because he was off somewhere, and I was like, I put on white socks, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
shoot it, let's go.
There's the 3 lions.
Yeah, I did that in my basement. I bought like a fluorescent light, and there was only a 2-light thing, and then I had to make a comp, so I split it in half and
Right on.
mirrored it. Yeah, we did a split diopter shot here. Like we
Mhm.
shot it with both in focus and not, but it didn't match right because we had to use the diopters for that close up of the hand.
Yeah.
That was always annoying too, because like anytime you get to a certain point with these lenses, you are past critical focus, so you can't. You're like, oh, we got to bring in this whole adapter
Yep.
thing, and then
Yeah.
oh, this one's not strong enough. We have to do it again.
Yeah. It was part of the learning curve.
Yeah, so we had pulled the glass out here, and you can see
Yeah.
some floaties against the glass, and those were intended to be tracking markers, but they're just texture now.
Mhm.
Too much work.
Yeah. What a great last shot, though.
Yeah, it wasn't scripted. It was
Killer.
just
Just kind of breaks the fourth wall.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the Puppetman.
That's the movie. Good
That is
job, man. That was
the
a fun
movie.
one. That was a really fun movie.
It yeah, it was a horrific experience, but a good one.
Yeah.
we did some cool stuff, and
Yeah.
we carried it to the next one that we've already shot, and now
Yeah.
we're trying to get the next ones going. So I am excited to bring even more of what we learned, because the last one we shot was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we learn something new every time, don't we?
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It was weird, man. Flying out, I was there for 8 weeks and just
Yeah, just
shooting
living out
this.
of that hotel and
Uh huh.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah. So what was her name? Charmaine, Katrina Davis. Okay. So for some reason she's not on IMDb because when we watched it last night,
Yeah,
we're like, "What's her name?" And not many
yeah.
of these people are on IMDb, and I don't know why.
I just checked it recently though. It looks like some people are starting to kind of trickle in
Are
though.
they?
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's a lot of like this cast was huge.
yeah,
Um, yeah, we had
yeah. I mean, definitely
gosh,
the biggest movie I've ever worked on. So it was
totally.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun to open up and like try some things because we took a lot of swings. I
yeah,
mean,
we did.
just
Yeah.
the set pieces, the streets, the bridge, the
Hmm.
rooftop, all of these things. There were so many pieces to it. Um, yeah, I would not want to do it again like this. I like my small one house movies. Those are easy.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
fun. Just
We
come.
do really well. We got those down, man. We're
Yeah,
really good at those.
yeah, for sure.
No, it was fun though. I really enjoyed it. I'm very thankful for the opportunity. Um,
Yeah, I
and
met
I
some
love,
good
you
people
know,
on
I
this
love
one.
working with you. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we got more, and we got more coming.
more coming. Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay tuned. I'm trying to. Oh, Jim. Do you remember Jim when he had the
Oh yeah.
on the epilogue day? That was so funny. No one was
Ay,
happy with
ay,
his
ay.
donuts, I think.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm very. There was a time in my life because the post took so long on this that I was just like, this movie's never gonna be finished. Like I'll never
Oh
get
yeah.
to finish it. I will
Uh,
die not finishing
yeah.
it. You know. So it's kind of a trip to be able to do a commentary on it because now it's done. And
Yeah.
tomorrow I deliver this commentary to Shudder for the DVD.
Even the commentary, we just took to the last minute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to
It's
do
hard.
anything.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we're
It's
at the
hard.
very end. We've got to say our goodbyes. So thanks for listening. If you listen, I appreciate it. Clayton, anything to say?
No, thanks for watching. Thank you for supporting the film, and we'll see you on the next one.